What is up, all my friends and fam of the neighborhood? It's that one guy, Centurion 1307, and today I want to have a little bit of fun and talk about a rumor I come across. You know, rumors, those fun things that are steeped in speculation and non-fact, the ability to flex your imagination and have fun. But you could say today's rumor comes directly out of the X-Files, as it revolves around the concept of Microsoft potentially purchasing Kojima Studios. Hideo Kojima is more known for giving birth to the Metal Gear Solid franchise, but he is also now becoming more renowned for creating Death Stranding, a game that is not only a visual masterpiece, but also has one of the most crazy narrative-driven storylines I've ever seen in any game. I mean, we've got people using bottled babies to see invisible creatures and rain that comes out of the sky that ages you rapidly. I can't even go on the other details. Ironically, when you talk about all this craziness, that's exactly what I thought when I heard the rumor that Microsoft could potentially be buying Kojima Studios. I mean, just think about it. We're talking about a game developer that has made a huge name for himself on the Sony platform by being a huge supporter of said platform over the years. He can also be anything from a demanding developer by demanding outrageous needs and wants to create a game, all the way down to being outright controversial in the things he says. At first thought, I totally shook my head at the idea that Microsoft would even want to purchase Kojima Studios and even deal with Hideo Kojima. In steps this image of an unknown Spanish magazine article that was published on Twitter, outlining that Microsoft is going to purchase Kojima Studios and reveal it at this year's Video Game Awards. The translated title of this article reads, "The following study to be purchased by Microsoft is confirmed. It will be Kojima Productions." Yes, I said the word study. According to the article on this article, Google Translator likes to go a little bit crazy sometimes, and it turned the word studio into the word study. The article goes on to give a short narrative on how Phil Spencer and Microsoft are getting ready to buy Kojima Productions, and the rest of the gaming media are completely unaware of it. So when I had this rumor and its related articles put in front of me, I chuckled at the fact that anybody was trying to stir the idea that Microsoft is going to buy Kojima Productions. I completely disregarded it and went about my day, and then it became the subject of discussion on the recent episode of the TXR podcast. When asked about this article, accused Xbox insider and supporter Tim Dog said this raised an eyebrow for him. He said he doesn't know how solid the rumors really are on Microsoft purchasing Kojima Studios. But he also says this isn't the first time he has heard Kojima's name mentioned in some of the stuff he hears and reads. At that moment, I pretty much sat up in my chair and raised an eyebrow because I said to myself, he can't be serious. And it's not that I don't trust Tim Dog. I respect the man and I respect everything he has to say, and when he speaks, I listen. I was completely shocked at the actual thought that Kojima would even be potentially talking to Microsoft. Well, I wanted to do a little digging of my own, and I was completely surprised to reveal that this is entirely possible. In an article as far back as September of this year, TrustedReviews.com came out and listed 5 companies that would benefit from Microsoft purchasing them and why Microsoft possibly could. Kojima Productions was number 1 on their list, and they pointed out the main reason why possibly could be the fact that Kojima Productions relied heavily on 505 Games and Sony to publish their debut title. It doesn't stop there. I found numerous articles on the internet all showing that Microsoft is looking to heavily acquire Japanese studios, and Kojima Productions popped up in a few of these articles. Ironically though, the most damning article I can find on how Microsoft has been making big moves over in the Asian market doesn't even mention Kojima's name at all in the article. In an article that appeared on Bloomberg, written by an individual who I respectfully do not want to butcher their name, talks about how Microsoft has been making big moves over in the Asian market, and Sony has been kind of pulling out over there and focusing their attention elsewhere, more likely in the North American market. Before we talk about the details of this article, I must mention that this article was written by an individual who not only works for Bloomberg but also the Wall Street Journal. According to his bio, he mainly writes about Asian tech companies for the Tokyo division of the Wall Street Journal. In the article, he states that Microsoft is starting to target the world's third most gaming market in Japan. At this point, since there's issues with people wanting to have facts and not wanting to read articles, we're about to play Listen to Centurion Read a Bloomberg Article. Alright, I'm just playing. I'm only going to give you the quick and easy version with some quick quotes. Microsoft Corp is making a serious attempt to attract fans in Japan with its new consoles and network services. Meanwhile, Tokyo-based Sony Corp moves its PlayStation business headquarters to California in 2016 and has built the US into its largest single market. An analyst at Ace Research Institute in Tokyo stated the Xbox has a chance to make Japan its second largest market after the US if it takes the right steps for years to come. Sony's attention is drifting away, and fans have started to notice that. When this analyst says fans, he's not talking about the North American market, he's talking about the Asian market. Sony has placed more importance on the US market after the PlayStation 4's disappointing performance in Japan. A senior figure inside PlayStation headquarters in San Mateo, California said the US side was frustrated by the failure of the Japan marketing team to sell as many PlayStation 4 units as expected. As a result, the marketing team in Japan was sidelined so that way the US marketing team could roll out the promotion for the PlayStation 5 in Japan. The article outlines in other ways how Sony is not concentrating on the Asian market anymore. Both of PlayStation 5's main online promotions took place at times that were more accessible to the North American and European markets. I also learned that over in Japan, on PlayStations they use circle to confirm and X to cancel, where here in the States it's the total opposite. Well, Sony has now ended a 26-year tradition, now having Japanese players actually adopt the same system that we have been using for years. When you ask Morningstar research analysts, they claim that their consensus is that PlayStation no longer sees the Japan market as important. If you want to know their take on the Japanese market, you need to ask about it, because otherwise Sony would not talk about it. Now, I'm sure you find yourself asking, how does this deal with Hideo Kojima and Microsoft potentially buying his studio? Put yourself in Kojima's shoes. He sees the US side of PlayStation calling more of the shots. On top of that, he has an upstart studio that is technically only one title deep. Well, you can only imagine the look on his face when he read that the employees in California said the US office believes the PlayStation business doesn't need games that only do well in Japan. Well, it's no secret that Hideo Kojima is passionate in the work that he does, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to let it die just because somebody wants to concentrate on a different market. Now I see why he also wanted Death Stranding on PC. With everything going on over in the Asian market with PlayStation and how Xbox is wanting to come over there and be more friendly, I could see why Hideo Kojima would open up dialogue with them. But I also have to agree with Tim Dog. He did go in finally saying that he doesn't see Microsoft purchasing Kojima Studios. That would be completely out of left field and jaw-dropping for everybody involved. What he does see though is potentially them getting a deal with Kojima for possibly the new titles that he's working on, or even getting some kind of Metal Gear Solid collection being put in Game Pass. Even Microsoft has come out and said that there is going to be some surprises at the Video Game Awards, but people do need to temper their expectations. The big takeaway I could say from reading about all this is now I am completely convinced that it is completely possible for Hideo Kojima to somehow make an appearance on the Microsoft ecosystem. But hey, you don't know what the future holds, and we gotta remember this is not all fact other than the articles involved, and it is purely speculation. Please be sure to leave me comments down below in the comments section on what you think. Please, I'm serious, I've been working with the public for at least 14 years, so I can take a good respectful jab or two. Which brings me to say thank you for tuning in over here in the crazy neighborhood and judgment-free zone of Centurion 1307. If you enjoyed today's content, please be sure to click subscribe down below, and if you are already a returning subscriber, thank you my fam for returning once again. As always everyone, let's stay safe, stay united, and be positive out there, and I'll see you around the neighborhood.